This is Vanessa Kwasny with the Kwasny Team at Century 21 Affiliated. So today I'm making a video about securing a much lower interest rate. I just want to be a part of the conversation that everyone's having about interest rates rising. So over the years being in real estate, I've gathered some things. I want to make it clear I'm not a lending professional. This video is not to give you lending advice. I just want to be a part of the conversation about interest rates and how you might secure a much lower interest rate in this market. So it could be something that you've never heard of before, and as you're starting your home buying process, it'll be something that you can talk to your lender about, options that you may not have heard of before. So the really important point I want to make is when getting a lower interest rate, it makes such a big difference. Even if you can secure an interest rate that's 0.5% lower than the current rate, a whole percentage point is going to be huge. What this lower interest rate allows you to do is pay less on your monthly payment. You will pay lower interest over the life of the loan, so you'll pay a lot less interest. Nobody wants to be paying interest. And then you'll also be able to afford a more expensive home without making a larger down payment or increasing the amount you're paying monthly. So the interest rate is huge. It's really important to figure out ways that you can get a lower interest rate. So what most people are familiar with is a 30-year fixed rate mortgage. Typically, when we're selling a home, that's what our home buyers will get when they're securing a loan. So what that means, if you don't know what a 30-year fixed rate mortgage is, the easiest way to explain it is for 30 years, that's how long your loan term is. That's the life of your loan. And so you have 30 years to pay off your mortgage. And then the other part of it is it's a fixed rate. So that means when you lock in that interest rate, say the 30-year fixed rate interest rate is 6.5%. When you lock in that 6.5% interest rate, it is never going to change for 30 years. The only time it would change is if you choose to refinance to a lower rate. Say rates go down and you want to refinance and secure that lower rate. Other than that, your loan interest rate is going to stay the same for that 30 years. So that's what most people are familiar with. And that's what we've been dealing with for a very long time, because for the longest time, interest rates were really low and nobody was considering other options because a fixed rate is, there's really not any risk associated with it. So with interest rates rising, people are getting more creative, and there's different options out there that you should look into as you're starting your home buying process. So one option that you may not have heard of is called an adjustable rate mortgage. For short, that's ARM, A-R-M, and it's also called a variable rate mortgage. What this means is you lock in a lot of times a lower interest rate for a set period of time, and then after that set period of time expires, your interest rate will fluctuate based on market conditions. It'll either go up or down, whether the interest rates are up or down, and it's going to fluctuate at a set interval. So what it'll look like is 5/1 or 7/1. That's what the interest rate is going to look like. And so what that means is, just for example, a 5/1, that means that for the first 5 years, your interest rate will be fixed. And then the second number of that means that it's going to fluctuate after that 5-year expiration of your rate being locked. It's going to fluctuate once per year. So you get to enjoy 5 years of a lower fixed rate, and then after that, it's going to fluctuate once per year. So the interesting thing about that is we hear most people are only in their home for about 5 to 7 years anyway. So if you secure an adjustable rate mortgage that's locked in for 5 or 7 years, you may be moving before that lower rate, that fixed rate time period even expires. So you won't even have to worry about the variable rate hitting you, because it doesn't hit you until 5 or 7 years or whatever you've locked in on that loan. So it could be a really cool rate if your home purchase is only going to be a shorter term purchase, and then you're going to be moving to a new home. Or another thing you could do, if you do plan to stay in your new home for longer than 5 or 7 years, you can always refinance into a fixed mortgage prior to that 5 or 7 year rate lock expiration. So it's a really cool option right now to look into. Again, that's an adjustable rate mortgage. You can contact your lender about it, ask what those rates are, ask what the terms are, but it's a cool option to get a percentage point or even 2 percentage points lower. So if the 30-year fixed rate mortgage is 6.5% interest rate, you might be able to get something as low as 5%, which would make a huge difference in your monthly payment and how much interest you're paying over the life of the loan. So just something to think about there to score a lower interest rate. Another option, if an adjustable rate mortgage doesn't sound interesting to you, a lot of people haven't heard of the option to buy down their interest rate. So what you can do is you can just bring a little bit more money to your closing. So you've got your down payment that you have to bring to your closing, you've got your closing costs that you have to pay at the closing. But what you can also do to secure a lower interest rate is you can pay a little bit more money at closing and secure a lower interest rate. So your interest rate isn't going to be adjustable. You just might be going from a 6.5% interest rate to a 6% interest rate, and all you had to do was pay a little bit more at closing. And then you're securing that lower interest rate for the life of your loan. So just some interesting options for you guys to consider. Like I said, not a lending professional, but I've heard of these options. I know that buyers are taking advantage of these things. So as you're starting your home buying process, please feel free to give Ryan and I a call. We'd love to talk more about your options and your real estate goals and get you in touch with a local trusted lender to give you more information about these options. There's so many options out there that can help you guys to secure a lower interest rate and save a ton of money on your home buying process. Thanks so much, guys, for listening.